Good morning, brothers and sisters. I am on my way to the gym. I haven't uploaded a video in a while, but I'm feeling good and I kind of miss making content. I'm not gonna give up on the dream of being the greatest self-development influencer in the world. So I'm gonna start posting some videos again. Today I'm going to be talking about how I went from loser, lazy, dopamine addicted monkey to 10K per month entrepreneur. Now I know 10K per month isn't that much, and I do have to say that maybe claiming that I am a 10K per month entrepreneur isn't totally valid. Maybe it's a little bit untruthful. Okay, I'm just gonna tell you my situation. I pretty much just hit my first 10K month ever, and not all the money is in my bank account right now, but this is something that I've been working towards for a long time. And if I sort of like do a little bit of mental gymnastics, and it's a reach to consider this a 10K month, but I'm going to consider it. So the revenue for my business this month it's 7K, but I have email agreement from a client who's a very, very big client. I don't know if I can even say the name, but it's a luxury fashion brand. Like, they probably have big corporate offices. There's stores of them in most luxury malls for 4K. It's a 4K deal. And I'm just considering that as me having already closed it, and I officially have hit 11K this month. Okay, so let's get that out of the way. I don't hit 10K every month. Last month I got, I don't know, like 1K. In the month before that, 2K. So I don't know. They say that in business you don't get anything and then you get everything all at once. It looks like we're gonna start that everything all at once now. Okay, so enough yapping, enough me trying to justify my 10K per month. How the heck did I get there? Who was I? How did I have to change? How did this journey start? Now, a lot of people choose or claim different starting points. Some people will say, oh, when I got out of high school, I was a loser and I don't know, my girlfriend broke up with me. Some people will say they were super insecure when they were 14 in high school. That's when they started. I think it's up to you when you can say your journey started, but you could go back infinitely. And I know a lot of you may think this is a reach. I know a lot of you will think what I'm about to say is a reach. Well, you could literally go back to your ancestors, because truthfully, the accumulation of their values and what they instilled into your grandparents and your parents and why your parents even had you plays a role. Whatever. I'm just gonna start when I was a kid. Maybe when I was 4, I used to be talking to everyone all the time. I wasn't shy at all. I don't know, things happen. I don't know, maybe too much negative feedback. Maybe maybe people didn't like me, or they told me don't do this, or my parents were too strict. I don't know the exact details. Like, that's the topic of another video. But I was shy up until, for the sake of simplicity, let's say I was shy up until my senior year of high school. And my senior year of high school, I don't know. I could make another video about how I stopped being shy. But yeah, I stopped being shy. I started having some friends. I wasn't this crazy social butterfly. Well, I kind of was compared to the average, at least at the beginning of senior year. And that's not the point of the video. I feel like a lot of you have scrolled off already, but a lot of you guys might relate. But up until this point, I got good grades. I didn't study that much. There was a period in my sophomore year of high school where I really struggled with chemistry, because I never studied all my life, and now I actually had to study, and I didn't build the habit of studying that much at all. And it was really painful, because when I did try to study, I would try to study too little, and there was just not enough time, and I hated myself. Man, that was a dark time in my life. My parents had to get me a therapist or a school worker or whatever. I don't know if it was technically a therapist or whatever they were. Whatever. I didn't have the greatest habits. I was always overweight. I've been overweight, then healthy weight, then overweight. Right now I'm overweight again. There's a lot of yo-yo moments where I sometimes lock in, sometimes I don't. I guess that's just the average person. But the average person that has yo-yo moments of locking in, then falling into ruts, they usually never hit 10K per month. So I finally have now I'm doubting myself as I'm speaking. I finally have a little bit of, sorry, I have to wait for this car to move. Okay, I'm good. I finally have a little bit of confidence that I am, to a degree, to an extent, an authority and someone that's credible enough to give advice because I hit my first 10K month. Obviously, I'm not the most advanced, I'm not the biggest authority, but I actually did it in some way, somehow, and I never had really anything to back it up. Now I have this little bit of something that people want to reach, that people think is super hard, or that most people try and never do. What's the statistics on failing businesses? I don't know. Most, like 90-80% of businesses fail within 5 years, but I'm only like a year and a half into business, to be fair, but made 10K month revenue. I probably have it's probably like 60% profit of that. So whatever. Okay, whatever. You can believe I'm credible, you can believe I'm not, you can like me, you can not like me. I'm at the gym, so I'm gonna try to get this video done with. I'm gonna try to have this video over with soon. So where were we? I was talking to you about how I was shy, how I didn't build the study habits. Okay, yeah, I didn't really build study habits. So, and of course, I'm 21 years old. When I was in high school, when I was 14 to 17, 18 years old, I was mid brain rot generation. TikTok came out I think it came out in my 8th grade, but it started getting popular my freshman year and sophomore year. And, you know, we already had YouTube, we already had video games, we already had junk food in our society that corrupted us and made it harder for us to go outside, be healthy, study, focus. I don't know, I guess amongst being in high school, of course, I guess I had to talk about girls, because that's pretty big part of everyone's lives, their partners, their relationships. I didn't get any attention at all. Maybe slightly senior year, once I was already going to the gym. I looked a little bit slightly better. I think I looked way better than I do right now, so don't judge how I look right now. And I could talk about girls, but I wasn't this super suave guy really ever. Low-key, senior year, I was like decent. I was normal. I'm telling you all about this because this all plays into business. I simply had other priorities back then. A lot of things I wanted to accomplish. I wanted to get girls, I wanted to get good grades, I wanted to have a better body. And I sort of accomplished those, not to the best extent. And probably the one that's been the hardest, the one that's taken the longest to see results, well, it was either losing weight, because you know that automatically takes time, or it's business. I didn't really care about money until I was a freshman in college. One second, I have to go back to girls, because I think girls was the thing that ultimately led me to want to be an entrepreneur the most, because I believe the thing that brainwashed me and programmed me the most was, of course, the content I consumed. I would remember I was talking earlier about brain rot, and we already had YouTube, but we didn't have brain rot, or whatever. When I was a sophomore in high school, I wanted to get girls, so I watched YouTube videos on how to get there. I discovered the red pill. A couple of years later, the black pill. Now it's, you guys probably know them as incels and looks maxing. I was very deep into that, and I'm just gonna say right now, I believe there's a lot of truth into the black pill and looks maxing and incels, but that's a topic for another day yet again. So when you're in that space, the red pill, the how to get girls, you get preached and you get programmed. A lot of men preach you have to make money, and I don't know. Everyone knows that. Every man eventually cares about money. They know that they have to make money. The red pill, and of course, it's not just money, it's a lot of money, ideally. At first, I was like, I'll be happy with just having a house and with my wife. Right now, I want to make 100K a month, eventually. I only have to 10x that. That doesn't even feel that hard anymore. That's kind of fun. So, eventually, when I was a freshman in college, I started caring about money, and I bought my first course. And you can shame me all you want, I was paying $400 a month. I've gotten this money over the years through birthday gifts and pretty much just birthday gifts and allowances. I had a lot of money saved up that I didn't use, and I was there for 3 months. And I didn't really start business. I knew I had to make money somehow. I was being sold different business ideas like high ticket sales, high ticket setting, high ticket closing, being an online salesman, starting a YouTube channel. Of course, I've heard of drop shipping, but back then, I think still now, it really had a bad name. And I don't know, I used to think there was this business model that I had to do to make it. And I don't know, I didn't know what, so there was this one guy I trusted. He has a really bad name right now. His reputation has gone down through the years by a lot. His name is Hamza. I was paying $400 a month for his program. I did it for 3 months. I actually really enjoyed being there. It was expensive, so it did hurt. And I really didn't make any money from it. Then I was bounced. Then the next opportunity that rose up within Hamza's space was the very next, that summer, someone that I actually met on Hamza's program lived in my city where I was in Orlando. I was going to a university in Orlando, UCF. And he told me he was making 10K a month. He was my age. He was doing door-to-door selling. So it was summer, so I wasn't in the city. I was with my parents in a different city near Miami. So I was like, okay, I'll try it out. And by this point, it was already in my mind that college, like, I don't really like it. Isn't this really worth my time? Keep in mind, I was going to college for free. My parents were paying my rent, but tuition was entirely free because Florida has really good scholarships. And so the new school year came. I was a sophomore in college now. I was taking 5 classes. Some of them were slightly difficult. I'm saying this as a business major, by the way. It's nothing compared to engineering, but I would actually have to study and do stuff like to take calculus and to take math, and I don't know, there was some math business class that a lot of people hated. And so I ended up dropping 2 classes because I needed a lot of time to do this door-to-door sales. Long story short, I did that the whole semester. So the gist of the door-to-door sales, I was selling solar panels, and you had to pretty much go door-to-door and tell them, hey, we're gonna give you an estimate, a quote, and then the other salesman comes in and tries to close them and actually sells them on the solar panel. The first 2 months, I got like 1 single appointment the first 2 months. Then I was averaging like 1 every 2 days, and every sale I would have gotten like $3,000. Only about like 5 of them ended up sitting. A lot of them got canceled, and none of them closed. So I made $0. But in the midst of that, I guess I was exposed to the business world. I can't really articulate. I'd have to reflect on what I really learned from that period. I did not become that good at sales. It was a different process for me. I feel like most people who were at my social skills level back then wouldn't have even done door-to-door sales. So if I go now and do door-to-door sales right now I'm in the headspace to actually learn and improve my sales skills, but back then I wasn't. Okay, so fast forward a couple months, I'm moving back in with my parents because I miss them. That's a topic for another day. There's so many topics in here. I'm pretty much telling my life story. So I went back to door-to-door sales, but this time it wasn't a commission-only job. I was getting paid like $14 an hour plus commission, so that was pretty nice. I had more potential to make more money selling solar, but this was just nice and decent. I was living with my parents, so it was just some extra money for myself. So I actually got a sale my first day. I didn't get a sale, but I set an appointment that led to a sale the first day, and after that I got one more sale the next month, and then I quit again. And then by the way, between all these times there was multiple periods where I was doing really good habits, going to the gym, eating well, and then I don't know, staying in bed, eating brain rot all the time, like the whole day when I wasn't working. Or there was probably days where I wasn't working and doing absolutely nothing, eating bad. Sometimes I was eating good. There was like weeks of good habits, weeks of bad habits all throughout. And during all this time, I suffered a lot of things about the way I looked, about with girls, and by the way, I'm actually married now. I didn't even talk about this, but right now I'm happily married. Had slight communications issues with her, where not every relationship was perfect, but I'm so happy with her. We've worked things out beautifully. We're gonna be amazing. So whatever. I haven't even told you about the business model that got me in my first 10K month yet. Where were we? So it was summer after I did door-to-door sales for the second time. This time I was selling hurricane impact windows, because we're in Florida and there's hurricanes. There's special windows that you can sell to homeowners that are special for hurricanes. I did that pretty well. Then it was the summer, and that summer was pretty bad. It was probably the lowest point in my life. I think at that point, those were the worst times with my then girlfriend, now wife. And I was doing all the bad habits from May up until September. And maybe need to give my brother and dad more credit for how much they helped me, because this is the start of the business model that changed everything for me. By the way, I want to be a self-development channel, so I gotta, I guess, underline and highlight the tactics that made me finally change. I would have never changed if I didn't hit rock bottom. I don't want to go into details about how I hit rock bottoms. I don't think I ever will, but I did. I was suffering, man. I was crying every day. I was just suffering. When I was suffering, it was also like a little bit of a philosophical suffering. Question God. I really questioned free will. And right now, I don't believe in free will at all, but I'm like at peace with the brutal realities of the world. I think, like, for example, I truthfully don't believe in free will, and back then that would have just made me suffer. Like, I would have been a total nihilist. Low key, I'm a nihilist too. If you don't know what a nihilist means, it just means that I don't think there's a meaning to absolutely anything. And we're not gonna argue that right now. I know none of you are gonna agree with me, and all of you are gonna want to argue with me on that. I believe that is most likely. I don't think that's the truth. I believe that is I believe that's the most reasonable conclusion you can come to based on what we perceive, based on our current definitions of logic and science and reason. But whatever, I suffered. And then what happened? What was this business model that changed my life? Okay, my brother, he's an entrepreneur himself. He's a big coffee guy. He has a bunch of coffee businesses. Coffee catering. That's the one that made me the money. I'm not even rich, by the way. Like, at all. Like, I'm not balling right now. I'm just happy from this accomplishment. Coffee catering, coffee courses, barista training, coffee consulting. He's been doing it for probably over 10 years now. And he's done it in Ecuador. My family's from Ecuador. Me and my parents have been living in the US since 2014, but my brother still hasn't been able to move here legally. We're all legal, in case you wanted to call me an illegal immigrant. We are all legal. My brother's legal because he gained the extraordinary talent, visa, or residency, whatever it's called, because of his accomplishments in coffee in Ecuador. So he wanted to bring his businesses over here. And he told me, Nico, I'm going to put you in charge of coffee catering. And that's the start of it. It took me when I first started, I was doing cold outreach, which is just like cold calling strangers and sending strangers emails to try to sell. Didn't really go well, but I don't know, probably being in door-to-door sales made me even have the courage to do that. I'm still like super scared of people and rejection. I still care a lot about what other people think. Whatever, it didn't really work. We didn't get any. I actually got one sale from an early outreach. It was actually the first message I ever sent on Instagram, trying to sell my coffee catering services for an influencer marketing event. That was fun. Then they hired us again a couple months later in an event they had. And our manager in Ecuador sold a wedding in December. Whatever, I don't want to bore you with the details. We didn't get many sales. Then I went to Netherlands for 3 months because that's where my girlfriend lives. And we really didn't get any bookings whatsoever. Sort of when I was there, I was just creating content that no one saw. It didn't get any bookings. And we didn't really start getting any sales until we started doing Google ads. So when someone looks up coffee catering in my city, results pop up. So I had to make a website, and we started running Google ads to our website, and people started being interested, and we sold a couple events. But even then, we were selling like 1 to 2 events a month up until October, when we sold like 2, but we were ranking higher on Google, this is the thing that has made me the most money for my coffee catering business. Ranking higher on Google. So when someone looks up coffee cart Miami, coffee catering Orlando, coffee cart New York, coffee whatever Los Angeles, coffee catering Los Angeles, a bunch of websites pop up, and the higher you rank, the more visibility you get, the more people that click your page, the more people that end up buying your product. And we were on the 2nd page of Google literally up until a month ago. Now we're ranking very well on Google, and we're getting leads, we're getting people interested, and people are buying our service. And according to me, we just made our first 10K month. So that's the story of how a loser, 21-year-old average Gen Z brain-rot addicted person made his first 10K month. I'm super happy with my accomplishment. God bless you. If you believe in God, then you already believe in love, because God is love. At least that's what I think, but who am I to know? I'm just a measly little human being who knows absolutely nothing, but yet has conviction, yet doesn't like when other people have conviction. God bless you. Bye.